welcome back to another installment of Wind Down on Marz. I'm your host, Nia Nicole, and Wind Down on Marz is a show where we curate a safe space for women, people of color, LGBTQ+, and all of our, kind of minority group folks to have conversations centered around love, elevation, art, culture, and community. I hope that doesn't sound too crazy, but yeah, without further ado, pour yourself a glass of wine and let's chat. I quite literally have a whole bottle of Sutter home, and I didn't bring a cup. I've got this Chick-fil-A cup, and this is just so like crazy, and it's not the aesthetic that I usually go for, but my titty's not out. It's not the aesthetic I usually go for, but I figure if the conversation is good and if the content is good, all the other bullshit doesn't matter for now, and to just make the best with what I have, because currently there's a dog in my apartment and they're barking up a storm. Besides, I kind of miss like the car vlog aesthetics. I don't know if any of you guys are around where they would be like car vlogs or like car chats or whatever, but I wanted to get another installment up with you guys and just do some chatting, because I've been thinking a lot, which, speaking of which, if you don't follow me on my TikTok, I'm gonna link that. It's at Nia Thinks Too Much. Follow me there because I'm like kind of getting more comfortable posting there as well. But I've just been doing a lot of thinking and I've been in my feelings. Some would say what I'm experiencing is akin to a quarter-life crisis. A quarter-life crisis indeed, because suddenly I am questioning all of my life's choices. For those of you who don't know, I am currently 24. I am a 98 baby. I live in Savannah, Georgia. I graduated from college in fall of 2020. It was the worst time to graduate. And I guess I've been trying to navigate my life and sense of self and sense of identity for like the past 2 years, and it's been very difficult for me. And in doing so, it's been very difficult to produce content. This is kind of where I'm gonna ramble a little bit. Like, I have been wanting to make content for like 2 years. Well, no. Oh, way longer than that. Since I was 16. So well over 2 years. I've always wanted to make content, and I always have haphazardly, like inconsistently made content. I've always made content since I was 16. I still have like my very first YouTube video from when I got a Samsung camera from my mom from like way back in the day. And being like a content creator has always been a dream of mine. It has always been a desire of mine. But for some reason or another, I don't feel like I've been successful in pursuing that, and that bothers me so much sometimes. And I'm trying to be more vulnerable about that, because I feel that if I'm trying to put on a front coming on the camera, it's going to be very difficult for you guys to resonate with what I'm saying. But I say all that to say, it's just caused me to do a lot of reflection. Like, what has caused me to feel so much pain and so much like struggle and strife when it comes to producing content, because I have the vision for content and I know I have the ability to make it. Like, I can't emphasize that enough. I know that I have the capacity to make amazing, great, dope-ass content on the internet, and I know that's what I'd rather spend my time doing. But even yet, and even so, it's been so difficult for me. And the point that I bring that up for is, I think that for me, that has to do with the fact that I haven't really felt a sense of identity in the individual I am without associating it under the guise of what another person wants me to be. Case in point, all throughout high school, I was somebody who was dealing with a lot of trauma and didn't even really have the capacity or verbiage to understand the trauma that I was dealing with, and kind of also the influence that my upbringing had on me and the ways in which I felt comfortable expressing myself. I wasn't comfortable expressing myself as a child. I wasn't comfortable being open and being honest about, you know, the type of individual I was. I'm adjusting my brightness, bear with me. And again, excuse the crookedness of this camera. Let me try to, ooh, you're literally on my steering wheel. But I just wasn't comfortable like expressing myself. I wasn't comfortable with being seen as weird or being seen as odd or being seen as like the awkward one, which I kind of feel like I was at the time, and that definitely didn't help my insecurities in terms of creativity. So it became very difficult for me to find a voice, even though that was when my desire to initially create content kind of conceived itself. And then from there, I went to college. All throughout college, my focuses were ministry based because I was a part of a campus ministry and I enjoyed it, but definitely the direction was centered more around church and organization. Which kind of, to some extent, kept me from pursuing maybe things that I would have pursued otherwise, or even so, more so, when you're experimenting with your spiritual journey, I think it's hard to really have a voice and really find a voice and resonate with what it is that you believe and also express yourself, because there's just so much going on. So that happened, and then I transitioned out of that organization and I was on my own, and from there I kind of got into this relationship, which a situationship I really feel like is more appropriate to say, that, for lack of better words, clouded my judgment. We'll get into that another time. That'll be a whole nother wind down episode. But I say all that to say, for all those periods of my life, now as a 24-year-old woman who is so much more self-developed and a little bit more, no, I will say so much more, fuck that, I am so much more confident in who I am now than I ever was then. But I look back at myself and I'm like, girl, like, you're the shit. Like, why are you letting all these other people's influences and perspectives influence what the fuck you want to do? Like, and now I feel like, now at my big age now I feel like I know who the fuck I am. You know what I'm saying? I know who the fuck I am. And once you tap into that and you're aware of your own greatness, the rest will follow. Because now I'm in a place where I'm sweating like I don't even know what, because I'm in this hot ass car right now and I don't want to put my AC on because it's going to be loud for the mic. But now I'm in a place where I can actually produce content and I feel so revved up for it, because I'm so much more confident in the woman that I am, and I'm so much more confident in the voice that I want to curate on the internet and the voice I want to, in the content that I want to make. I have so much more confidence. I can't emphasize this enough. So it's like, I really am making this video for every 20 something. Like, if you're in your mid 20s, if you're in your late 20s and you're feeling like you want to be creative in any which avenue, and you're struggling to feel like you can keep up with the standard of, you know, things that are being produced, or just like your peers, or you're looking at people that are like younger than you and you're like, oh fuck, like they've already got it figured out. There is something that you have to offer in the position that you are in now, and just know that 150%. The next thing that I really wanted to get into, it kind of will piggyback off of some content that I saw from another creator by the name of Simi Moonlight. I love her. I adore this woman. She made a TikTok and it was 27 things I learned by 27. And she had one specific point that just, it literally struck a chord with me, and it was like killing me softly, and it's still killing me softly, and I want to share that with you guys, so I'll insert the TikTok right here.
First thing that I want to share is that every incredible, amazing, life-altering thing that has happened to me has only happened after I decided to move on from something that I thought I would never let go of. I don't know what it is about the power of deciding to move on that really changes the trajectory of your life. But every single time that I decided, okay, this is no longer worth my energy, this is no longer worth the things I've been putting into it, this is no longer worth my time, I need to move on. I can no longer let this event, let this person, let this moment affect me this way. My whole life has changed for the better, okay?
She basically goes on to say, you know, the moment you let these things in your life go that aren't supposed to be a part of your life, that aren't serving you, whether that's a person, whether that's a thing, whether that's a relationship, whether that's a job, whether that's a mindset, whether that's a hobby, whatever it is, the moment you release those things and let that shit go is the moment that the things that are truly meant to serve you really come in your life. And I need to pat my forehead because I feel like I'm getting so oily. And the thing that I want to say to that is, even in the small time frame, I feel like even in this small time frame of making different choices, I already feel an abundance of what's supposed to be in my life entering my life. I can't emphasize that enough. I decided, like, 100% confidently so, I decided that, you know what, from now on, I'm not going to double back on old things that weren't serving me and old things that weren't good for me anymore. I'm going to release those things and let those things go. And already I feel the universe supplementing me with the things that are supposed to be there. Whether that's a sense of inspiration for the content that I want to create or a sense of direction for where I want my life to go in, I find that the more that I release the things that aren't meant for me, the things that aren't serving me, the more that I am able to have so much more clarification about what is meant to be in my life. And I just, it's like this newfound thing. It's like, it's literally like a new lease on life. Like, why didn't I do this before? Like, why didn't I do this sooner? But I guess that's like something that just comes with like getting older. You have a firmer understanding of what's for you and what's not for you, and there's just a lot of satisfaction in that. I'm like patting my forehead because I'm sweating. I hope you guys can hear me over my AC because I had to put it on because I'm dying in here, y'all. Like, it is so hot. I am literally in Georgia in the dead of June in my car filming this for y'all, so I hope you can hear me over the AC. But yeah, like, it's just something so beautiful about the fact that once you begin to focus yourself and really align your time and your space with people and with things that are meant to serve you, the universe sort of just opens up onto itself. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for the community that I have been able to build on YouTube, however small that is. I'm so grateful for the community I have been able to build in my actual life, you know, however small that is. Whatever the case is, it's not numbers that is going to, you know, determine how of value something is. It's the quality of it and the type of energy that you put into it. So that's kind of what I want to do from this point forward, is like, I just want to focus on making good content. And if I'm making good content and if I'm consistently making good content, like, I feel like this is good content. Like, me being real and me being vulnerable with you guys, I feel like that's the type of content that I value most right now. And as long as I keep doing that, everything else will follow, which brings me into my next point, actually, in regards to making vulnerable content. I can't emphasize this enough. I just feel like if you're going to be an influencer in this day and age and you're going to work hard to create a platform, it behooves me as to why you wouldn't want to take that opportunity. Because let's break it down. Like, let me really like sip my wine on this. Like, please have your wine. I'm having my wine in my Chick-fil-A cup. Let's really sip and like really get into it. And I want you to interact with me and like bounce off of me and let me know what you think as well. But it's like, if you want to be an influencer, the point of being an influencer is having influence on the masses or on a small niche community. You are influencing those people, whether it's purchasing things, whether it's maybe a lifestyle, whether it's beauty, whatever the case is. You are influencing people. And it's just like, in this day and age, with every fucking thing going on in the world, the economy, the recession that we're looking at, the depression, it kind of behooves me, while there are so many people who want to create platforms for the sheer sake of, it's almost just like for the sheer sake of just having a platform, if that makes sense. Like, it's like, if you want to have an influence over people, you should have some sort of a desire. I'm sorry, I'm adjusting this because it got a little dark for a second. You should have some sort of a desire to influence people in the way that they need to be influenced. And right now, respectfully, nobody needs to know about your favorite fucking blush. Like, respectfully, nobody really needs to know about your favorite blush. Nobody really needs to hear about your favorite, like, what's in my bag. Like, those days are done. People need to feel hope. People need hope right now. People are grieving and are feeling lost. Those are the people who are in tune with, like, what we really need and the influence that we really need. You see what I'm saying? It's like, the hyper consumerism and the effects that capitalism has had on the realm of influencing has already shown itself, because I think I saw another piece of content that was talking about how, and Emma Chamberlain was talking about this, but it's like, people don't jump for influencers the way that they used to. There was a video, again, excuse me y'all, I'm on Marz for real because it's hot as hell in this car. But there was a video of, what was it? There was a video of VidCon, and it essentially was showing, I believe her name is Grace Africa, at VidCon, and nobody showed up. And Grace Africa is a relatively, like, poppin', like, content creator. I know Grace Africa. She has a pretty, I want to say she has at least 1 million followers on TikTok. Very funny. Like, I'm familiar with her content, and it's like nobody showed up. And it's like that because the reality of the situation is people aren't as concerned with the lifestyles and with the daily activities as of influencers the way they were before, because we're in a different time. People are really suffering right now. So it's like, micro influencers are seeing kind of a peak in interest, smaller brands and smaller influencers from companies, because A, companies know that these micro influencers aren't going to be as much as, you know, the people with mass amounts of followers, or B, there's a sense of trust that people feel with people who have smaller platforms, more so than people who have a platform the size of, let's say, James Charles or any of those, like, kind of OG, like that peak YouTuber kind of phase or whatever, you know, like. And I think that's such a window of opportunity for creatives to come in and really do something amazing. Like, really do something original, really do something amazing, and really do something that the girls aren't doing. Like, come on. Like, I just love, like, people who really value, like, challenging themselves and challenging the content that they create. Case in point, I'm just gonna ramble like a little bit in regards to the type of influencers that I'm loving to watch right now, are people who just have more of an intellect wired into the content that they create. So case in point, Damon Dominique. Damon Dominique has really been like one of those YouTubers that's just been killing it in the game for a while now. And even now, up until this point, I enjoy watching his content because I feel like he's so, like, I don't know, it's just like he's so inspiring with his travel content, and I love the way he edits his videos and the effort that he puts into his content. And it's like, I feel like influencers like that have niche communities that are more so focused on not catering to the algorithm but to their organic content are going to be the people who kind of last out through time, you know? And that's just kind of like a side note. But those are kind of simultaneously the things that have been on my mind in regards to the influencer space. And something that I've been telling myself as well, and this is me also being vulnerable, is like, I feel like a lot of the times, because I look back and I'm like, well, damn, I kind of wish like back when I was 19 or back when I was 20, I was able to like get my YouTube channel popping and just be like this popping YouTuber at 20 years old and, you know, kind of live in that, because I feel like that's the aesthetic. I feel like that's the goal. I feel like 18 to 24, that's the young adult era. That's when you're considered like the prime influencer marketing age, from 18 to 24. I am now 24, which granted, I'm still kind of within that collective, but I'm towards the tail end of it. But I kind of have a sense of gratitude about that, because I've just been thinking about it, and the reality of the situation is like, okay, I'd rather be 24 years old, or I'd rather be 27 or 28 years old with like a small platform and I truly have a sense of what I want to create, than back then when I was 19 and 20 kind of just bullshitting on the internet and not really having a sense of direction about what I wanted to create. I'd rather be me now creating content. Like, I like the version of me now, and I believe in what I have to say now more so then. And I also think like peaking in your 20s, it's not all that it's cracked up to be. Like, I don't want to peak in my 20s. I hope to God that in my 20s I have not seen my best years. And that's another point. It's like people put all this pressure on your early 20s to be the best. Listen, fuck that. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. I refuse to drink that Kool-Aid. I refuse to believe that my best years are gonna happen in my early 20s when I'm dead broke, have no foundational financial stable anything. My love life is shit. My mental health is shit. Not to like talk down on myself, but like realistically speaking, that's the shit people are going through in their 20s. They're trying to figure life out. They're trying to unpack all that trauma that they had to go through throughout their childhood. Like, you're not in your 20s trying to, you know, you're not everybody in their 20s is like on the cover of Forbes. Shout out to Kylie J. Yeah, we can't relate. We can't relate. And I'm not mad about that per se, but I have to stop putting that expectation on myself, because I can only do what I can do. So what I have to focus on doing now is showing up every motherfucking day and putting my best foot forward and going forward and giving myself, Naya Nicole, the best version of myself that I can possibly be, and not allowing anybody else to stop me or to deter you. And I would say that that's my message for this wind down episode, is like, listen, don't let anybody deter you from doing the things that you want to do. Do not let anybody tell you that you can't do the things that you want to do. Do not let anybody tell you that you're not good enough, or you're incapable, or you're not this enough. Whatever the case is, I don't know. Like, don't let anybody tell you that, because at the end of the day, society has a whole bunch of binaries about how things are supposed to go and how things are supposed to be, but it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Case in point. Oh yeah. Well, I honestly think that I've said everything that I kind of wanted to say. That felt so good, and that felt so cathartic, and I enjoyed that so much. So yeah, thank you for tuning in to this wind down episode. I hope you enjoyed. I hope my sweat and the background wasn't too deterring for you. But if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. It'll totally help me out. Oh gosh, a bug just flew in here. Oh, it flew out. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. It'll totally help me out. And make sure you subscribe, because I would love to see you tune in for another episode and have some chat with me. Girl, what? And have a chat with me and have some wine with me. And I'm excited. Like, I feel so excited for what's to come. Anyways, cheers, bitches. See you somewhere in the cosmos.